Why you don't trust yourself and how it's costing you your life. This is Manifesting Miracles. So let's talk about it. My name is Michelle Juanita Lamont, and I am your spiritual bestie, helping you manifest your life in one way or another. We are going to get you there. So let's start with this idea. Why don't you trust yourself and how it is completely costing you your life? You don't trust yourself because it stopped being safe. Okay. It's not weakness. It is not a mindset flaw. And if you get a better mindset, you're not going to change, be trusting yourself. It's not in the mind. It's in the body. And this is a learned protection because when you went out and gave your heart, your trust, your ideology, whatever it was, to this world, it pushed you back into fear. It pushed you back into rejection. So here's the problem. You have self-distrust. And when we have self-distrust, what happens? We overthink. We got into this overthinking loop. Is this the right thing to do? Is this the right thing to do? Is this the right thing to do? You're always, always, always second guessing yourself. And when you start second guessing yourself, you're telling yourself, all the versions living in the house called you, that trust is something that's optional. And so you start outsourcing your decisions. So what does that look like? You start asking everybody else, hey, what do you think? I'm going to move to this place, or I'm going to quit this job, or, this relationship is like this. It's one thing to get an opinion from your friends. It's another thing to loop out and to crash out. And most people don't trust themselves. And so they start to crash out and they're like a little octopus and they're putting all these tentacles in all of these different places and hoping that if enough tentacles agree and the majority says yes, you can grab that idea and run forward. It doesn't mean it's the one that you trust. It doesn't mean that's the one that's going to help you manifest. It doesn't mean that it's going to change anything about your reality. It's what you've always known. And so you're over here waiting for certainty. And you're over here hoping that if 99.99999% says yes, then I can make the move. But that's not how manifesting works. And that's not how you regulate and change everything about this reality. And so nothing will move because you need perfection, and perfection is fear, because indecision is a decision and you have that analysis paralysis. And so when you're in that state of being and when you're in that reality, you can't see anything else. So self-doubt isn't the problem, it's the symptom. So let's talk about why we act this way. It's your nervous system, and your nervous system isn't regulated. And instead of seeking the truth, meaning doing the hard work, understanding yourself, you trust and you want safety. And safety means that you go back into the places and into the realities in which things aren't what we want, but what we can tolerate. We know how this one works. We know the reality of this. And so why would we risk going into another reality when this one feels so comfortable? It's like being on the couch for too long, watching too many things. And we know that television is programmed to numb our prefrontal cortex. And so you're just sitting here watching the same episodes over and over again, or you'll just watch a whole season of something. This is your nervous system in freeze mode. And when you're in that reality, you're not trusting yourself at all. And so protection negates intuition. And so when protection negates intuition, you start to feel dysregulated. And so when you can calm that nervous system, you have access to the highest and the best version of yourself. And so your nervous system wants safety, but the truth is that you're unwilling to receive it because you're unwilling to change, and you're unwilling to see yourself in anything in any other reality because you don't trust it. And here's the problem, and that's where the truth lies. You were not born to be in distrust. You were not born to be in disbelief. You were born with all the love in the world. You were born with all the safety in the world. You came through the only indoctrination portal that God could bring you into this world. You were baptized in the womb. You don't need some man to dunk you in a tank. I mean, if you believe that and you want to receive that, go for it. But God already anointed you through the womb. And so through that portal, you were already blessed to have the life that you desire. You were already there was already a sign off. And that doesn't mean that things are easy. That means that you have to overcome the things that are difficult, and you have to resonate with the fact that the truth is you're avoiding the hard stuff because safety is soft. Safety is hard, and you don't trust your intuition, and we need to get back to trusting our intuition. And so, it's like you can't trust yourself in a body that doesn't feel safe. You can't trust yourself. Sorry, my dog was doing something in a body that doesn't feel safe. And so what happens? The solution is that you have to rebuild the trust within yourself. And that is something that is important to understand. It's not doing a million things at once or changing everything in your reality. It's making one small, tiny decision every single day. You don't justify it. You don't ask people for permission. There's no over narration in your head. Okay. And you stop auditioning for the life that you're supposed to receive. So what could you do? Every day you could make one choice that has nobody else's opinion in it. And you slowly and softly start coming back into you, into the safety, into the trust, into rebuilding the connection. You stop auditioning for this life and you start actually participating and living in it. Because, my love, you came here anointed and blessed. You came here to overcome these things, not to avoid them. Yes, it's sad and it's hard, and sometimes it's very, very fucking scary, but that's okay. You have this undeniable right. You have a birthright to manifest everything that you want. But if you don't trust yourself, it's going to cost you everything. It's going to cost you literally everything. And so manifesting, one of the things that's really important to understand about manifesting is that manifesting requires calm, faithful actions in a stable body and in a stable environment. You're not stable enough to hold the frequency of what it is that you're trying to call in. Because if you were, you would be living in that reality right now. You'd be living in that house. You'd be sitting next to that soulmate. You'd be driving that car. You would be executing things that allow you to move in that energy. And so I'm just asking you to challenge yourself every day to do one small thing without anybody else's opinion and start to rebuild the trust between you and your higher self, which is source energy. You're asking the wrong questions and you're looking at it in the way of fear. You're looking at it in the way of almost wishing upon a star. And you know why wishing upon a star works? Because that is the one thing that you believe that you can hold. So one out of every 10 wishes become true. But what happened if you regulated so hard that everything was a star? Everything was your reality coming into fruition. Because the universe doesn't ignore you. It reflects how you deeply, 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 deeply trust yourself. And it proves that you don't. You don't trust yourself, so you take the opinions of everybody else. You don't trust yourself, so you don't make the right moves. You don't trust yourself, and so you take those signals and those fear markers as indications that you should stop, when the universe is actually saying just the opposite. The universe is saying, oh, but beloved, I want you to regulate. I want you to unhook yourself from the echoes of fear. Because whoever poured that into you, whether it was viciously or lovingly, they built a foundation that cannot sustain the manifested life that you desire most. And so now you have to trust your own frequency and your own signal. And you have to understand that this reality is ready for you to co-collaborate with it. You came from that star that you're wishing upon. In fact, you can Google, is there stardust in my DNA? Yes, there is. You're not from the planet Earth. You're not a tree or a bush. You're only here for a couple of years, a couple of decades. Some people are here for 30 minutes. Some people are here for 30 years. Some people are here for, 10 decades. And so when you're not waiting, when you're not forcing, when you trust the signal, the universe will act like a mirror. And the universe is the mirror of a reality of how much you trust yourself. So did you quit the job that doesn't see you? Did you go after the thing that may not pay the most, but you love the most? And if you don't know how to take these steps, I want you to understand that listening to this podcast was your first step. You saw the title and you said, yeah, that sounds like me. That's your highest self saying, babe, I'm tuned in, tapped in, and turned on to your frequency. Walk a little bit closer to Michelle. Because what do you really need? You need community. You need clarity. You need connection. And in my society, the Manifesting Miracles Academy, we give you all of that. We have almost every week something going on. You have something to put your ears on. You can listen to it any time of the day, whether it's at 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything is always available to you and everything is recorded. And guess what? The first month is on me. Let me treat you to 30 days of nervous system regulation. Let me teach you how to trust yourself a little bit more. Let me introduce you to a community full of people who are in that same situation, ready to regulate, ready to manifest, ready to trust that the creator inside of them is the creator above them, and that they can take action in places where they only saw fear. You didn't come all the way from up there to come into this body to only live in fear. The universe mirrors trust, and it reflects how deeply you trust yourself by what your reality looks like. And babe, I want you to fall in love with this life again. I know things have been hard, and I know things can be difficult, but you and only you have the ability to co-connect with that energy. And if you don't know where to start, go into my academy, book a one-on-one session with me. I do container work, coaching, and I also do corporations. So if you're a corporation and you want to bring a speaker in that has a plan on how to raise that frequency with your workers, then that's me too. That said, the solution is you. And you're going to have to rebuild that trust one small decision at a time. No justification, no narration, no auditioning. You just move quietly. And you join our community, because in here, you're going to meet people from all around the world that are completely ready to support you, to love you, and to see you. So let's close this episode like we close it always, in connection. And in 3, 2, 1. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Us again. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Yes, yes, yes. All right, producers, cue that motherfucking music. This has been Manifesting Miracles. My name is Michelle Juanita Lamont. I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe if you're listening right now, and drop a comment if you're on YouTube so I know that I got to YouTube. But please, more than anything, right here, join me, Manifesting Miracles Academy. This is your sign. This is your next smallest step. I love you. You are incredible, and you are worthy of all the things that you're ready to receive. It's on the other side, and you're this close.